The last decade was an era of heightened internet penetration driving digitization. The focus was on getting banking and other services to the fingertips and the doorsteps of customers. It was the decade of mobility, a decade that saw the biggest transformation in the way business models changed and participants in the financial services industry evolved. In this keynote address, we will get government's view on digitization of BFSI. I would like to invite Saurabh Mishra, Joint Secretary, Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Over to you, sir.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to open up this particular important forum, and I would like to first congratulate ETBFSI for organizing this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, COVID pandemic has caught the entire world off guard and has resulted in over 1.3 million deaths and over 55.6 million infections worldwide and counting. So while it has claimed millions of lives on one hand, needless to say, it has left a devastating effect on the economies around the globe. Indian economy is no exception, which is visible by the decline, which is as high as around 23.9%, which we saw in the first quarter of GDP in relation to the 2021 progress that we started off. Now, if I have to summarize the effect of pandemic on the BFSI sector in particular, I think it may be a good idea to kind of look at it across its various paradigms, that is banking, insurance, NBFCs, and so on. And as we all know, banking has really faced a huge amount of liquidity crisis on one hand, because of the increase in defaults, followed by credit risk assessment and its provisioning. The other impact that has been felt is the stress that is increased on the entire banking sector debt. So if you recollect, RBI had stated around 15.5 lakh crore bank debt, which was not stressed and which was accounting for around 29% of the total bank debt that has become stressed now because of COVID, in addition to the 22.2 lakh crore debt, which was previously stressed, which is also seemed to have worsened. So we've got two blocks. One is the debt, which was all right, which is going through the stress. And second is there's an additional massive size of debt, which has gone through the stress route. If you talk about NBFCs, the key point of strain has been the increased complexity in determining their impact on the expected credit loss measurement, as well as the fair value computation. So that computation has resulted into M2M losses, which are again very staggering. And this phenomenon, mind you, may lead to potential breach of adequate capacity on their capital adequacy side, which can further require a series of capitalization to continue its operations or to survive. Talking about insurance sector, the last, I think it started threatening their continuity, the way we are seeing the sector developing in the last few months, as well as the growth of its future. The pandemic actually, in fact, has remained as an acid test for all financial institutions and more so for insurers in terms of their financial, operational, and business continuities that have witnessed through the reduced claim payouts, liquidity issues, business interruption claims, delays in the claim surveys, and last but not the least, adversely impacted cash flows. The other impact that is being felt about the financial sector is on the human capital side, that is cutting across banks, insurers, and financial institutions. Both onto the mental side as well as the physical side, there is a clear challenge and a risk emerging on the well-being of employees and customers alike. So at the enterprise level, pandemic has been forcing sector CXOs around the globe to take control of their sustainability, understand their exposures better, both the direct as well as the indirect exposures that they carry, and the full scale of the risk that they might face as they move around. One will have to measure their risks in quantifiable terms as much as possible, as well as to determine what's the right strategy to mitigate or reduce these risks, while ensuring consistency in various areas of reporting and disclosures. Because the other thing that will be played out much more impactfully is the greater transparency around the sector. As we all know, friends, the revival of the economy will be layered, complex, and gradual. Having said this, we are actively taking various measures and tackling those issues by way of bringing not just the relief, but the revival around the economy. Be it the Atmanirbhar Bharat and its various schemes around it, be it these stimuluses that have been coming across from the economic and financial side, or the direct benefit transfers, including a variety of measures like fintech-based lending to MSME, liquidity facility for NBFCs, mutual funds, and HFCs, partial credit guarantee for the NBFCs, and suspension of fresh insolvency cases over a year. On the insurance side, we've looked around bringing COVID-specific products and solutions. We have encouraged wellness along with the remedies around and connected to the COVID, and obviously offering premiums relief, especially in the general insurance and the health sector by way of extensions on converting them into the monthly payouts as well. I think Napoleon had once said, with every adversity comes an equal or greater opportunity. And this pandemic is no exception. It is visible that COVID has accelerated digital adoption as the new normal. The BFSI sector has begun embracing technologies to expand products and services and to revolutionize customer experience. Companies have also started looking very, very keenly at the digital channels, which becomes the most viable, the most cost efficient, and the most distribution friendly channel in these times, which we have never seen. Possibly we never will. Fingers crossed. Just to give you a measure of what am I saying in terms of the digital adoption and acceleration, NPCI data revealed that the volume, which was around 132.5 crores a month, which was in February, that is pre-COVID, it has almost doubled itself to become 207 crores of transactions in the month of October 2020. So this is the volume of transactions which are resulting to a new level of the digital payments as we speak about it. If I do about the analysis on the amount terms from 2,22,000 crore, it has moved to 3,86,000 crores. So there is a clear paradigm shift which is emerging across the globe and more so in India in terms of the digitality and its adoption, both at the pace level of it as well as the volume level of it. On the insurance side, we've already seen nearly a 40% increase in the online insurance sales during the COVID time. The important news here is that on the various surveys that are coming up in the last few months, they have started feeling that the respondents who are there into the digital paradigm or the digital environment now from their physical environment earlier, around 2/3 of them do not even want to come back to the cash payments even if the pandemic is over. Now, this is a very defining trend, ladies and gentlemen. And I think this is the one which will set India's journey in a fast-forwarded way, possibly better to anybody or better to none. Considering these various researches and studies, I think it's becoming more and more obvious that the customer interaction as well as the customer communication will shift digitally. A large part of customer transaction becomes a subset of it, and hence that takes the digital route as well. Some of the technologies that have started knocking much more heavily than they ever did for us in the BFSI sector is artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud being used in a completely different and sizable environment, blockchain, Internet of Things, RPA, and so on. I think it's extremely important that each one of us at the CXO level start looking a close window through which these technology can usher in, can sneak in into our environment and into our ecosystem, not just to build communications and connections and transactions, but to build the businesses of future. I think in addition to these benefits, my sense is that the 24/7 environment which the digital provides is something which is an addiction. And once the entire world and its consumerism move towards the 24/7 servicing patterns, chances are that a huge part of it will become irreversible in order to seek the same aspects and the same ask when it comes to servicing or the service delivery. Having said that, I think India, like other countries, have to travel the last mile, which is the next challenge for financial institutions cutting across banks and BFCs and the insurers. The idea is that digital interactions need to become more personalized, the products need to become more customized, and the transactions need to be converted into the actual outcomes in a matter of minutes rather than days or hours. With this, I clearly believe that we need to really take a step forward towards the digital environment, collaborating industry, regulators, as well as the legislative bodies in order to usher into this era, which is going to be a defining digital era, most of it on an irreversible manner. As a caution, while digitality has its own pace and now the rationale towards it on its organic basis, I think it's essential that we remember the underbelly of digital, and that is cyber. It's important that cyber issues, cyber awareness, cyber smartness is not just looked at seriously, but starts becoming intrinsic and starts getting embedded into our ecosystem on each of the enterprise that we are representing. Cyber criminals are on the rise. This is not a news. We all know that. The only thing that is important is in the last few months, these attacks have been more than India has witnessed ever. And I think this is extremely important that we take cognizance of the fact that we will continue to remain one of the most attacked countries when it comes to cyber attackers or cyber actors. Within the countryside of which BFSI will continue to remain one of the three, one of the four most important sectors on which they will always have their handle, will have their play on that. And mind you, friends, cyber actors are becoming intrinsically more sophisticated. Their speeds have increased. Their, their ability to penetrate is on the rise. So underestimating cyber actors or cyber criminals will possibly be only at the expense of our own survival or at the expense of our own identities. So that, to my mind, is the basic idea with which we should embrace digital or adopt digital. I once again wish all the best to all of you. And I just generally hope that this important seminar at this time of the year and this time when the entire world is grappling it as part of the COVID pandemic to begin with, and that's the post-pandemic areas or arenas which are getting opened in front of us. I wish that this seminar is a success. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, for any query regarding this event, please feel free to visit the Help Center in the lobby. We will be happy to help you. Let's take a short break and visit the expo area. Visit our partners' booth to download useful assets, watch informative videos and chat with their experts. And don't miss to tweet using the hashtag ETBFSI CXO.